Relief amid skepticism. 7 words related to Gaza's ceasefire. It is the first week of the ceasefire in Gaza. It is heartening to see smiling faces and jubilations in the region. So far, there have been many reactions. Analysts and commentators express a variety of criticisms and concerns. One article that caught my attention was by Al Jazeera columnist Andrew Mitrovica, who discussed 4 significant words about the Gaza ceasefire. The columnist is known to write on, among other things, the crimes of Israel and presents 4 concepts: relief, gratitude, acknowledge, and shame. In discussing relief, he reflects on the situation in Gaza and how the people in the region may experience a respite from Israel's bombardments. He also considers how it will be relieving for Israeli families of the hostages. Mitrovica emphasizes the need to acknowledge the steadfast resistance of Palestinians against the occupiers' attempts to break their will and spirit over the past 75 years. Indeed, it's evident that the world's progress isn't solely based on knowing what's occurring in Palestine. A growing number of individuals have begun to acknowledge this reality. The columnist also expresses gratitude to those who stood with the people of Gaza despite the occupiers' efforts to crush them. Finally, Andrew Mitrovica's last word is shame, directed at the politicians and governments that have allowed Israel to commit genocide against the people of Palestine. Indeed, one cannot agree more with Andrew Mitrovica's 4 words and how they relate to the events. However, the aftermath atmosphere suggests more to the situation than these 4 words. These concepts are likewise highly relevant: skepticism, infamy, and perseverance. Speaking of skepticism, many continue to doubt Israel's commitment to the agreement. They cannot be blamed. Israel is notorious for its disregard for international agreements. As of last week, Israel has carried out 618 violations of the November ceasefire deal with Lebanon, according to a data compilation by Anadolu Agency. Netanyahu has continuously asserted that his country has the right to resume the war in Gaza should negotiations for a second phase of the ceasefire deal prove futile. It is alarming that Israel, while claiming to pursue peace on all fronts, continues to deploy more troops and launch drone strikes on the occupied West Bank. TRT World reported that Jenin Deputy Governor Mansour al-Saadi has warned of a potential large-scale invasion of the Jenin refugee camp by the occupying army. Well, historically speaking, keeping promises and covenants has not been a hallmark of the children of Israel. In Psalm 78 verses 10 to 11, the Bible itself serves as a reminder of this. Yet, in the verses of Baqarah 84 to 85, Allah states that they took a covenant not to shed each other's blood or to expel one another from their homes. However, they did the exact opposite. Thus, skepticism toward the acclaimed descendants of these people is rightly justified. Another concept is infamy, worse than shame. This applies to the United States. The Biden administration is gone, and a new sheriff is in town. Although Trump is attempting to distance himself from the conflict by stating, "It is not our war," only to begin his term by removing sanctions on Israeli settlers. Were the settlers' activities not among the triggers of Tufan al-Aqsa? Trump's evangelical team adds another layer of infamy for the United States. During her confirmation as Trump's UN ambassador nominee, Elise Stefanik gave an affirmative answer when asked whether she subscribed to the opinion that Israel has a biblical right to the entire West Bank. Given that this so-called biblical right extends from the Nile to the Euphrates, if Israel decided to march its army into any of these countries tomorrow, we could accurately guess the US's vote at the UN. Our last word is perseverance. The entire war period has taught us several important lessons. People have shown solidarity through education, boycotts, and enthusiastic desires to work harder for complete liberation from the Zionist order. These efforts must continue. There is still a long way to go in the struggle against the system that supports Israel's injustices. A ceasefire should not deter us. Allah says, "O believers, patiently endure, persevere, stand on guard, and be mindful of Allah, so that you may be successful." Al-Imran 3, 200. For governments that have responsibly suspended trade with Israel, there is no reason to rush to rekindle relations with the occupying state. The Middle East Eye reports that Israeli authorities have announced significant losses in 2024, including the closure of 60,000 companies. Whatever actions keep Israel fearful should be continued as long as it does not desire peace.